According to scientists, the planet is facing the biggest crisis in history. Every year, global temperatures are reaching new peaks and, as a result, millions of fish are being wiped out due to bacteria from melting polar glaciers. The current forecast is that the crisis will continue for several decades or that it will never be overcome. Several countries are facing food shortages and people have begun to revolt, leading many to believe that this will be the beginning of the end for humanity. A decade later, while people around the world are suffering from food shortages caused by climate change, the Thai people still have resources. To ensure that the food is shared fairly, the government enlists the help of a few trusted people to transport the supplies to the distribution centers. However, on the way, Singh and his friend are surrounded by a group of looters and the young man, who is a former Muay Thai fighter, gets out of his vehicle to confront them. Despite being alone and unarmed, the man manages to take down his opponents with ease and come out of the battle unscathed. Thanks to his experience in clandestine fights, Singh easily manages to dodge the sharp objects his enemies use to hit him and enlists the help of his traveling partner to protect the supplies in the back of the truck. When he arrives at his destination, Singh and his partner deliver the food to the merchant, but as one of the boxes is open, they don't receive full payment. After doing this job, the fighter gets a motorcycle to travel with his wife, as she plans to return to Changdao. While most of the population lives precariously, a select group of people feast around a table laden with the finest food and drink. Mr. Vasu is known as the man behind the miracle that allowed the Thai people to survive the longest food shortage in history and is now planning to start a new food business so that Thailand can become the new food hub of the planet. While hosting a banquet to raise money for this new project, Johnny, one of Vasu's partners, begins to suffer a seizure and is rushed to hospital. When he arrives home with his new acquisition, Singh finds his wife and is scolded for still working in the transportation of supplies, as this is a very dangerous job. After cleaning the wound on her husband's face, Rin gets ready for work and, when she arrives at the hospital, she soon realizes that the night is busier than usual. While she's attending to patients, Rin is accompanied by a little young man who dreams of becoming a doctor one day. He is the son of one of her best friends, so the doctor makes a point of taking good care of him. That evening, however, Buddy has to separate from Rin for a few hours, as the woman has an appointment in the operating room. Just as Rin is about to start the operation, the hospital director appears and orders her to follow him, as someone else has been sent to perform the surgery on the patient. As she is the best doctor in the hospital, Rin has been chosen by the director to talk to Mr. Vasu about the condition of his wife, who is seriously ill. Meanwhile, the patient she was supposed to operate on continues to suffer numerous seizures and the medical team is unable to stabilize him. As a result, Johnny is unable to resist and, a few minutes later, his eyes begin to darken. Suddenly, the young man gets up and attacks the nurse who is examining his blood in order to find out what took his life. After eliminating her, the zombie runs around the hospital looking for new victims and everyone tries to flee at the sight of this out-of-control man attacking people. Meanwhile, Singh is at home when he hears an announcement from the authorities warning of an emergency at the hospital where Rin works. After hearing the announcement, the man immediately decides to go there to check if his wife needs help and finds dozens of other people standing outside. They are all relatives of staff or patients who are inside the hospital and, seeing their own policemen being attacked, the civilians become even more worried. While trying to help the wounded, the officers end up being bitten and decide to respond by firing numerous shots. In the midst of all this confusion, Singh manages to get into the hospital and goes looking for his wife while the guard tries to contain the zombies that are attacking people. At that moment, Rin is hiding in a room with a patient who has been bitten and decides to go out to try and understand what is going on. The doctor doesn't even suspect that the attack is caused by a pathogen and that the contamination is caused by the bite. So the woman leaves cautiously to investigate and, when she returns, she is almost devoured by the elderly man who, minutes before, was asking for her help. Frightened, Rin runs out of the room and hears the screams of people being attacked on the floors above. Just then, she hears the voice of her husband, who is in the communication room sending a message to his wife. However, when she presses the button to answer the call, the electricity is cut off and she is unable to reveal her location. When he realizes that all the electronic devices have stopped working, Singh gives up on his initial plan and decides to go out to look for Rin. However, when he opens the door, he is surprised by the arrival of a zombie that is trying to devour him and he has to start a fight against it. Realizing that he won't be able to defeat the creature with a punch, the fighter takes a telephone cord and wraps it around the creature's body to knock it out. While trying to cross the corridor, Singh comes across dozens of other zombies, but manages to fend them off with his Muay Thai punches to reach the staircase. At that moment, he hears the screams of a young boy and decides to go back to rescue him, because he knows that a child could never survive alone in that hospital. He sees the zombie crawling towards him. Buddy tries to hide, but the creature manages to find him and crawls under the beds to try and reach the boy. Just as Buddy is about to be captured, Singh appears and drags the zombie away from him. Following the young man's lead, the fighter discovers that the only way to destroy those monsters is to aim for their heads and focuses on destroying their skulls. Once the zombie has been eliminated, Singh asks if Buddy knows Dr. Rin, and the young man claims to be her best friend. So the man enlists his help to guide him around the hospital, and the boy takes him to the department where his mother works. Meanwhile, outside, the Thai army officers have decided to adopt a new containment strategy and eliminate anyone who leaves the hospital alive, so that they can prevent the infection from spreading. After making a thorough analysis of the situation, the officer orders his men to blow up the hospital before the entire population of Bangkok is contaminated by whatever caused the outbreak. After convincing the government that destroying the hospital and the people inside is the only way to solve this crisis, a group of soldiers is sent to spread explosives around the building. On arriving at the pathology department, Rin sees the room where the security cameras are and realizes that the door is locked. When she tries to take the bunch of keys from the security chief's waist, Rin is attacked, but manages to get free and open the door. Once inside, she uses a cupboard to block the passage, and when she looks at the images from the security cameras, the doctor realizes that there is nowhere safe inside that hospital. When he arrives at his mother's office, Buddy sees the bulletin board and discovers that Rin has a surgery scheduled on the 5th floor. However, on their way there, they are both chased by a horde of zombies and have to hide in one of the rooms, where a young man is keeping his hospitalized father company. With no hope of survival, the young man uses a substance in his own body to put an end to everything before he turns into one of those monsters. When the zombies are about to enter, Singh decides to flee via an alternative exit and climbs a scaffold in the company of Buddy, who is terrified to see the old man and his son having their bodies devoured. During the climb, the boy is surprised by a zombie that approaches the window and grabs his feet, then starts screaming for help. Seeing the young man in trouble, Singh throws a sharp object at the zombie's head and finishes it off. The man then helps Buddy complete the climb, and they both hug each other, relieved that they have managed to survive. When they both reach the 2nd floor, Buddy finally finds his mother and runs to hug her. However, as he approaches the nurse, Singh realizes that she has been bitten and knows that she could turn at any moment. According to Mink, Dr. Rin is on the 10th floor and asks Singh to take care of Buddy, as she won't be able to accompany them. When he realizes that his mother has been infected, the boy breaks down in despair and starts crying because he doesn't want to be separated from her. However, Mink knows that his son's only chance of getting out of that hospital is with Singh, so he asks the man to take him with him. On leaving the maternity ward, Buddy manages to break free and runs back into his mother's arms, but soon discovers that she has been transformed. Desperate, the young man starts screaming and ends up attracting the attention of other zombies nearby. At that moment, Singh takes the boy on his lap and runs with him to the staircase in order to reach the 10th floor. Through the security cameras, Rin discovers that Mr. Vasu is still alive and decides to run to his hiding place to take cover. After making sure that the doctor has not been infected, the man tries to calm her down and tells her that rescue will come very soon. When all the explosives have been installed, the soldiers are ordered to get Mr. Vasu out of the building and have to risk their lives to try to save him. Seeing a military helicopter approaching, Buddy celebrates, convinced that the government has sent a rescue team to save them. However, the truth is that those men have been sent to rescue a specific person and have only 30 minutes to complete their mission before the entire building is destroyed in a huge explosion. When he realizes that his wife's blood supply is running out, Vasu decides to make a deal with Rin and says that if the doctor can get more blood for his wife, he will get her out of there when the rescue arrives. So Rin decides to take a risk to try and get that blood, and as she walks cautiously so as not to attract the attention of the zombies, she is caught by her husband. However, when she opens the door, the doctor ends up making a lot of noise and her presence is detected by the creatures, who start running after her. In an attempt to stop the zombies from reaching his wife, Singh starts shouting to attract them and hits the monsters while Rin tries to close the door to stop them getting in. Just then, the soldiers arrive on the 10th floor and use their weapons to make their way to the room where Mr. Vasu is sheltering. After finding him, the men escort him and his wife out, and Rin is left behind. Seeing his wife about to be devoured by a zombie, Singh breaks the glass in the door and asks Buddy to go and help her while he holds off the monsters outside. Luckily, the young man manages to get there in time and grabs a fire extinguisher to distract the monster while the doctor hides. After ducking, Rin tries to crawl to the exit, but ends up making a noise and once again attracts the zombie's attention. As the creature runs towards her, Singh appears and strikes it several times on the head until he completely destroys it. And now, at last, the couple can be reunited. Meanwhile, the soldiers who were sent to rescue Mr. Vasu are attacked and the doctor who was sent to look after the businessman's wife ends up being infected. Concerned for his wife's health, Vasu convinces the soldiers to go back and look for Rin, as she is the only one who can guarantee the patient's well-being. However, on seeing Singh, the soldiers decide to shoot him, as they mistake him for a zombie. Seeing her husband on the ground, Rin immediately bends down to try to help him stop the bleeding, but ends up being dragged away from him. When he finally manages to get up, Singh uses his Muay Thai skills to help the soldiers get rid of the zombies and then has to eliminate the soldiers himself to ensure their safety. The order those men received was only to rescue Mr. Vasu and his wife, so anyone other than them is considered disposable. So, even with a shoulder injury, Singh has to go into combat with trained soldiers to ensure his and his wife's safety. Just as he is about to pass out from a blow he is suffering, the fighter is saved by a zombie that suddenly appears and attacks the officer. In order to defend himself, the man is forced to release his opponent and Singh is given time to recover. After getting up, the fighter and his opponent continue the fight and hit each other until both end up unconscious. Seconds later, when he regains consciousness, Singh sees the soldier being devoured, but he doesn't have the strength to get up. Luckily, the rescue team arrives in time and Rin helps him treat his wound before he loses any more blood. Despite the pain, the young man stands firm and wakes up already thinking of a strategy to get Rin and Buddy out of that place before it's too late. At that moment, Singh looks at his wife and says that as soon as they leave that place, they will go back to Changdao and the woman is happy to know that she will be living in her hometown again. There are only 15 minutes left before the explosion and Buddy decides to open the door to check that the way is safe. Just then, he spots the soldier who was fighting Singh and realizes that he has been transformed. In an attempt to get rid of the zombie to clear the way, the fighter lures him into the warehouse and throws a flammable liquid at his back. The man then manages to set the zombie on fire while Rin watches the creature's body turn to ash. At that moment, the fire prevention system is activated and the zombies, who are scattered all over the floors of the hospital, begin to mutate. At the same time, they all turn into even more terrifying creatures and start making frightening noises. While looking for the exit, Rin and the others spot Mr. Vasu and his wife. However, as they get closer, the doctor notices that Anne has veins popping out all over her body and begins to suspect that she has been infected. But instead of being frightened, Vasu is relieved to see his wife awake again and refuses to leave. When he approaches to check that his wife is okay, the man ends up being bitten and Singh decides to flee with his family before he transforms. It doesn't take long before other zombies approach to feed on Mr. Vasu and the businessman ends up being devoured. After eliminating their last victim, the zombie go after the last 3 survivors left in the hospital. Noticing that their enemies are about to catch up with them, Singh decides to stay behind to distract the zombies while Rin and Buddy run up to the terrace. As soon as they reach the place, they are approached by an armed soldier who orders them to turn around to check if they are infected. After making sure they haven't been bitten, the soldier asks where the rescue team is, as he lost contact with all of them a few minutes ago. When he is informed that they have all been eliminated, the man rushes to get into the helicopter and take the civilians away, but the doctor convinces him to wait for her husband for another 5 minutes. While Rin and Buddy safely board the helicopter to await takeoff, Singh is trapped inside a vehicle trying to keep the zombies as far away as possible. At this point, he's completely surrounded and has no idea how to get out without getting bitten. Unable to see any other way out, Singh decides to take his chances and uses a metal blade to protect himself while destroying all the zombies around him. Luckily, he manages to escape unscathed while all his enemies are eliminated. However, within seconds, a new horde of the zombies appears and he has to run to the terrace. When he finally gets there, the man is exhausted and has to hold the door so that the zombies don't reach the helicopter. There are only 3 minutes left before the entire building is destroyed, so the soldier orders the pilot to start the takeoff, otherwise none of them will survive. Seeing her husband just a few meters away, Rin despairs and tries to convince the soldier to wait until he reaches the aircraft. In an attempt to reassure his wife, Singh walks slowly towards her and smiles. The man is emotional because he knows this is the last time he will see the woman he loves, but at the same time he is relieved to know that he was able to ensure her safety. Seeing that the pilot has already started the takeoff, Singh realizes that he won't have time to get into that helicopter. So he decides to accept his end with his head held high and take as many zombies as possible with him. As she watches her husband through the window fighting off the horde of zombies, Rin is surprised by the explosion and is overcome with despair, as she now knows that Singh has no chance of survival. As she mourns the loss of her loved one, Rin hugs Buddy, knowing that they both lost important people that night. A few weeks later, The doctor is still trying to get over her grief and moves to Changdao with Buddy. What she doesn't realize is that Singh managed to survive the destruction of the building by hiding inside a metal capsule and has since set out on a mission to find Rin. So what did you think of this movie? Leave it in the comments below. And if you liked the video, like and subscribe for more movie recaps. See you next time.